What is up, my little sugar buggers? Welcome back to the channel for a brand new speed build. So today, you guys, we are creating a tier 2 tiny home with a botanist in mind. Yes, I am so excited for this build. If you guys did watch my very last Create a Sim, then you already know that this home is for Miss Daisy Bellerose, which again is a very fitting name because this home is very inspired by botany, gardening, you know, floral arrangements, all types of things. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna call this house, but I will be honest with you guys, I love the result. Like every time I build, I feel like I get a little bit better, I get a little more comfortable, a little more confident, a little more quirky, and this home, let me tell you, is no exception. I went hard in the mother in paint, y'all. I had a vision and I was sticking to it. I mean, I just went in, and I'm so excited because it really shows. Like, I know it's tiny, I know it's small, but there's just so much like personality. There's just so much detail that went into this, and so much love too, and determination, because I was up till like 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, I was literally like the little train that could. I'm like, I'm finishing this shit, I'm finishing this shit, I'm finishing this shit, and I finished that shit. So anyway, if you guys didn't know what a tier 2 tiny home is, it's basically a limit of like 64 tiles or something, which is actually a very conservative, well, I wouldn't say it's a conservative, I would say it's a very convenient amount of tiles. Like, I felt like I was able to create the home that I had envisioned with that particular limit. Now, I could have stretched it to 100 tiles, but I really wanted to create a tier 2 tiny home because I've already done a tier 1, and then I did the impossible tiny home challenge before Tiny Living came out, which literally made me go bald in like a spot near the front of my head. I'm not even kidding, that was so stressful. So anyway, this home, like I said, I kind of wanted to go for a cottage feel. Now, again, going back to the Create a Sim that I did for Daisy Bellerose, I highly suggest that you watch that video because that sim has a backstory that is attached to this particular home, so they kind of go hand in hand. But if you didn't want to watch it, or you didn't watch it, basically this home here used to belong to her grandmother, who was heavily into botany, into gardening, into living off the land, that type of a thing. So that's kind of why it has more of like an old lady type of feel. For the exterior, it feels very fresh, it feels very light, and I love the fact that I went with the white columns and like the beige kind of accents. I thought that was just a really neat touch. And then also with the roof kind of being green, and then the scallop siding, I just really love the exterior. But because this cottage has been here for a very, very long time, later I go in and I add some details that kind of show that the land is starting to reclaim itself in various ways. So one thing I struggle with that I'm sure a lot of you guys can totally relate to is sidewalk or like entries or anything that's leading up to the house, especially when we are in a place that is kind of like in the middle of nowhere and there isn't a sidewalk. Like, I just don't know what type of pathway is the word that I was going for to create in that particular circumstance. So I decided to take these little circular things from Get Together, and I feel like they are kind of like a foolproof way of adding a type of entry without kind of making it look like a sidewalk is out of place. So I wanted to go and put in a lot of ivy. Now, the thing with having a foundation and adding anything close to the foundation when it's raised up is that it's not going to work. It's not the biggest deal, if I'm being honest, because later I kind of add in things to kind of like just, you know, conceal that. So yes, I know it's not realistic. Typically ivy just doesn't grow out of the damn foundation, but like, listen, I couldn't be bothered. Add in a couple little crack details. I love the vampire game pack for this particular reason. I feel like these little elements are so vital when creating like worn or really lived in or even abandoned homes for that matter. So here's the exterior. I love the ivy. And oh, I never use this chimney. It doesn't have a purpose in the house. Like, there isn't like any type of fireplace or real heat source, but I just wanted to add it in. And I also threw in a little I love adding in an air conditioning unit. I don't know why. And then I also decided to toss the little rope on the outside of the fence. I thought that was super cute. Also throwing in a fountain. If you know Jen at all, you know she never, ever, ever, ever plays with the fountain. Like, I just don't. And so I wanted to just add that in. And oh, another thing too, I'm doing landscaping first before I do the interior of the home. I don't really like do all of the landscaping at once, but I kind of lay it down. You know, I do my sketch, my rough draft, if you will, just to get a general feeling understanding of what it is that I'm going to go for. And so I didn't create a specific designated place for you to garden, but there are a lot of planters throughout the property. So of course you have tons of space where you can go and just plant whatever it is that your heart desires. Or maybe if you wanted to invest in a nice little plot for your garden, you can do that too. And very quickly this home is taking shape. I'm adding in a lot of different details I normally don't play with because, like I said, I wanted this home to really represent my sim Daisy, and I also wanted it to be something different than I normally gravitate towards. So I wanted to add a little place in the back where you could barbecue, and because Daisy was a huge fan of her grandmother's iced tea, I wanted to go and add in a little iced tea tray, throwing in some more planters. I do get rid of a few of those, by the way, and also the bicycle in the front. Oh my god, I love the bicycle. It's such a cute touch. Oh my god. All right, I'm getting way too carried away, but yeah, so I think at this point we are at the 64 of 64 tiles. I was able to take in or use the last 2 or 4 tiles that I had to create a little off step so you could go into the backyard and enjoy yourself. I do actually have a floral arranging station on the front porch. Not sure if that's functional. We'll make sure that it is. Otherwise, when you go to download the build, it may possibly move. So I also went and made great use of debug items. So if you guys are familiar with Simlissy, which I'm sure we all are, she's like freaking amazing at building. She has a bunch of these debug sets where it's like classified as like certain types of clutter. So like there's kitchen clutter, there's, you know, garage clutter, there's just miscellaneous clutter and all that stuff. And I feel like that was really vital for me to be able to grab those assets so that I could, you know, fully clutter up the home in a realistic way. I also threw in bees. We have like a little washing tub, which is super exciting. There's just a lot to do on this property. So even though you're in the middle of nowhere and you're kind of like isolated from the rest of society, like you have a lot that you're going to be preoccupied with. So you're never ever going to be bored. Now I'm going to start getting into the interior, which originally I was like, oh my god, what am I going to do? Because typically with the square homes like this, there's not much you can do. It just looks like trash no matter how you try to swing it. And so I was kind of confused of how I wanted to you know, portray the interior. Not to mention, I don't know if anybody else is having this, but like literally my entire house wasn't showing up as a house. Like I was trying to paint the walls. I don't know if you guys just saw it, and it was like there's no walls to paint. I'm like, what the freaking heck is going on? So again, because this particular cottage belonged to a little old lady, I wanted it to kind of feel like it belonged to a little old lady. So I went and made use of these really pretty flower or like floral wallpapers. I was trying to figure out how I could make it look kind of youthful at the same time, and I feel like I just kind of went the more natural brown route because that's just what I am. Like I don't really use a lot of color. I mean, I wanted to diversify, and at some point in life I probably will, but you know, for this particular home I think it kind of works. And then also another thing that was really irking me was the fact that with the double paned windows like that, I just wasn't able to get it in a way that I wanted. So we've got some with shutters and then some that are literally shuttering because they don't have shutters. So just, you know, if it bothers you that much, you can fix it. It's not a big deal. It doesn't take away from the house at all. But here we are working on Daisy's room, or I guess Poppy's old room. The bathroom is really cool too. I actually picked up a lot of bathroom clutter from Simlissy and added in a few little things too. This is definitely a little tricky because the window and where it's placed, it made me struggle a lot. I actually like the sink and the toilet right there, but I wanted to be able to have it like centered under the window. It doesn't look great. It doesn't look bad. You can fix it if it really bothers you, but in the end, I pull it all together. So I wanted to go and add in different light fixtures. I really love the wallpaper that I used for this. As you guys can tell, like I am using pops of color. Like, you know, the sink is green, and then we have like the walls, and then I'm using like these tartan drapes. And so even though it's neutral, you know, I mean, even though it's brown, because that's how we get down, I added a plunger, which is pretty cool. I don't think I've ever used a plunger before. Actually, you know what? I freaking hate plungers. They are the most disgusting thing ever, especially when you gotta like waffle stomp something. I ain't playing, y'all. Like it's just, it'd be like that sometimes. I freaking hate plungers. Anyways, I don't know why I felt the need to tell you that. But yeah, so we cluttering things up a little bit. But basically, in a nutshell, we are just gonna finish up, you know, decorating the house. I'm adding in a little rubber duck, little squeak action. And it's the small details. It really is. The bathroom's coming together great, and I can't even believe that I'm going to be furnishing the rest of the house in like 5 minutes. What the freaking heck? Oh, another thing, I grabbed these storm drains. I really like the rust kind of tone to them. There's also just regular drains or vents rather. They're like 100 simoleons. These ones come from Debug. I like those because they match the floor. And then I went and I switched it and I put in like the lighter ones that cost like $100. So if you guys don't want to use those, these ones are actually in Debug. I think I personally want to create like a little debug pack of like things that I like to use, or like a clutter pack or something like that, like an essentials for the home that I use often. Originally I didn't think this layout for the kitchen was going to work, but it did, and I love it. I love the way that it is because it fits like everything that I needed to, and you have lots of counter space and blah blah blah. But I kind of wanted to tell you guys a little shum about my personal life, because that's how we do at the end of these videos, you know what I'm saying? We get real all up in Jen's mix. So basically tonight I'm going on a date. I'm going on a date. I don't know if I told you this, but like there was this kid from high school. It's a long story. But basically I knew him when I was like 16 and he was 15, and he and I almost got together, but then life had a change of plans. I actually got pregnant, believe it or not, and that's what stopped it from ever becoming a thing. And ever since, you know, like I've been separated from Juan. It's been a while now, believe it or not. It's not as quickly as you guys maybe found out about it, but it's been a while. And so I reached out to him just to see how life's been treating him. And honestly, you guys, like, I don't know, things are going good, and we're gonna go see a movie tonight. We're gonna go watch Birds of Prey, and I'm like, I'm getting clammy telling you about it. Oh my god, I feel so stupid. But I know if this is the first time that you're hearing about any of this, you're probably like, whoa, like, what is going on, Jen? What do you mean you're single? Yes, ma'am. Hey, get out your girl. DMs are open. I'm just playing, no, but y'all, you probably know if you're on my Twitter, dude. I went through a moment. Anyway, long story short, that's what I'm doing today, and I want to get this video up for you guys ASAP so that, like, you know, I can get ready and like whatever. Super excited to go watch a movie. He's a great guy. He's an amazing guy. He's incredible. He has a heart of gold. And I want to tell you that story sometime. Like, it's kind of sad, actually. It's kind of like Notebook-ish, kind of. Almost, sort of. Anyways, long story short, those paintings, by the way, that you saw me put up and like do the little framey things around, those are also from Simlissy. I thought they would be a nice little touch just to add in to the home, because even though this home is like obviously fixated on like flowers and gardening and plants and trees and bushes and all that fun stuff, I didn't want to overkill it. I didn't want to make it too freaking obvious. I didn't want to make it repulsive. But it's very evident that whoever lives here is really into just, you know, into gardening, into botany, and all that fun stuff. So I really, just like I said, I cluttered the hell out of this place, and I just loved like the little collage of photos. I also threw in an easel too. I do believe the lot traits are like great soil, something about creativity, and then there's like another one in there that kind of like makes you happy just living here. And so the bed situation was definitely a little tricky. I didn't know what to add, but of course, as per usual, I kind of figured it all out in the end. So we are getting very close to the end of the build. If you guys are interested in hearing more about my personal life, I will tell you guys like in my videos, like when I'm doing speed builds and stuff, because that's like the best way to do it. But if you don't care, then let me know. Like if you want to hear more about my shenanigans, I will be more than open to tell you. Just let me know in the comments down below, because also like sometimes people watch speed builds and they could give a rat's freaking ass as to what the heck is going on in that person's personal life, because they're there for the build. So I just want to, I mean, I know we different. I know we're like family, but you know, I don't want to annoy you with my problems if you're not interested. You know what I mean? I mean, I got good stories, but if you want to listen, that's the question. Anyway, long story short, you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video here. I will be uploading this bad boy to the gallery, Gen2606, in case you guys want to get your manitos on it. Also, go ahead and check out my Create-A-Sim on Daisy BELLEROSE. I will go and link that video at the end of this one. And I hope you all enjoyed this video. And if you did, you know what to do, boo. Don't forget to go ahead and comment and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, where the sun does not shine. And I will see you all next time. Bye, guys.
Push it back, hold you close, start a fire, there you go.